Welcome back to another episode of The Adventures of Cletus. Working on the 77 again. Cletus is resting right now. Don't worry, Cletus is still here. This truck, today we need to do brake booster, master cylinder, and brake hoses. I have all those, and I have a new special work light today, the Cyclops. Tried it out for the first time. 3 brightnesses, magnetic, adjustable, rechargeable. Can't beat that, especially for $35. So, I've already got the truck up in the air. I've already soaked my brake hoses and lines and the one on the master cylinder with a mixture of automatic transmission fluid and acetone. A friend told me about that a few years back. Works as good as PB Blaster, and you can make a gallon of it for probably what 1 can of it costs you at the store. So I've been using it quite a bit, for quite a while actually. So what we're going to do, I just soaked down those lines, and I'm going to drop the truck down. Actually, no, we're not going to drop the truck down. We're going to remove the rear brake line, replace it with the new line, and we're going to bleed it. And then we're going to replace the front brake hoses with the new ones and bleed them. And then we're going to go up top, and then we're going to fix the brake booster and the master cylinder. The reason the brake booster is being replaced is, well, it's 45 years old, possibly. And when you push the pedal down, you can hear the RPM of the engine change, so that means there's a vacuum leak in there. And the master cylinder, you push the pedal in and it doesn't rebound back out. That tells me that the seals are bad, fluid's getting past it. It's that, or these brake hoses are old, and what they do over time is the insides swell up to a very small hole, and it'll allow fluid in, but it doesn't come back out like it should. So when you're doing something on an older vehicle like this, brake hoses. They're cheap. These were like, there's 3 of them on here, 2 in the front, 1 in the back, $15 each. The hardest part about them is getting the steel line on the other end to come out of that hose, but we can do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking that rear hose off, get the new one on there, and I'll bring you back there and I'll show you what I have. Okay, here we are in the back, working on that rear brake hose. That's a junction block, runs to your rear wheel cylinders. Also in the, oh, there it is. Also the center here, which attaches that to the axle tube, that's your axle breather. This is your actual rear brake hose. So I didn't show it, but it took a little getting busy here to get that broke free. The reason why you want to go and soak your lines is so they break free, because sometimes, and these lines, they're not, I mean, they were replaced and then it sat for a long time, so they're not very rusty. But you put your penetrating oil of your choice on there, and hopefully that doesn't stick to the fittings. You can use some vice grips lightly, or pliers, to hold that line while you try to break the fitting loose. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It's always great when you get them, because you don't have to make a new line. So once we have that apart, up there is what we need to work on. This clip slides out, and I've already sprayed that down, So I have to unhook that hose from that line, put the new one on, stick the clip back on here, and then run it back down here. Here's the new one. Right here, you see that junction block? So we're gonna get this busy and we'll come back and we'll show you how we did. Okay, we got it. None of the lines stuck, so I didn't twist any fittings off, which is always a good thing. Compare the old hose to the new. Oops, there it is. Yeah, I'm new at this still, so, you know, cut me a little bit of slack. Now, one thing you want to check is your axle breather. And if you look, she's plugged. I don't know if focusing on that, but it's plugged. So we're gonna have to clean that out. Otherwise, your pinion seal on the front of your axle and your wheel seals or axle seals, you're gonna blow a seal. And that's never a good thing. I know what you're thinking. Blow a seal. Yeah, I know, I get it. No one wants to blow a seal. But anyways, we'll clean that out. We'll get this put back together and we'll come back and have a look, see how it goes. Also, even though it didn't twist any lines, it did make me work for it. It wasn't an easy deal. Mechanics gloves. I have them. Wasn't wearing them. I don't know why. I'm not always the brake. Right, we have the new brake hose on, and we have, we're gonna bleed it out. I have it in a jar of brake fluid. Or is that my urine sample for my probation officer? Just kidding, but you really shouldn't put urine in your brake system. Anyways, this is something I picked up watching the YouTubes, and since I don't have anyone here to help me pumping the brakes, this works great because I submerge that in brake fluid, I pump the brakes, it purges the air, and when the brake pedal comes back up, it sucks fluid in. So, I'm gonna leave it back here, I'm gonna pump the brakes a few times, and we'll see what we got. Can't see if it's doing anything. Oh yeah, I see it purge some old nasty brake fluid. You don't want that in there. So, give it a few more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's working. I'm gonna give it just a couple more, just for shits and giggles. And then we're gonna put those brake lines on Yep, jar's full. I have old nasty brake fluid on the bottom. Nice clean clear brake fluid on top. Okay, well, we'll come back. We'll get those lines hooked up and we'll look at. Oh, there you have it. New brake hose installed, bled up to the block. There might be a little bit of air in them lines. We'll see about bleeding those. But we're gonna move on to the fronts. So we'll move on to the front and we'll get back and we'll show you what we have. All done. And I tell you what, that clip on that top one was a son of a gun. There we go. Remember, there's a left and a right. Of course, I tried to put the right on the left first. I wondered why it didn't fit, and then it dawned on me, there's a left and a right. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm dumb sometimes. But I figure it out usually. So, we're all done. Pedal feels great. And the pedal rebounds now. It doesn't stick down, and my brake lights don't stay on. Now, that brake booster, she's still bad, and we have a new one, but that master cylinder may still be good. So on the next video, we're going to do the brake booster, and we're going to inspect that master cylinder. And if that master cylinder is still serviceable, we're just gonna let it buck. I got a new one, but I've got 2 of these trucks, and eventually I'm going to need the one, so I'm not going to return it. So let's take a look at these old brake hoses. Okay, here we go. This is the front. It's a little swollen shut, but not as bad as the rear. That rear was closed up quite a bit. What happens is the pressure of your master cylinder pushing that brake fluid in, it allows it in, but it doesn't let it out at the same rate. It'll eventually backfeed out of there. But that's why my brake pedal was sticking down, because pressure would go in and the brakes wouldn't release right away. Bad brake hoses. They go bad after a while. These ones are, I don't know if these are the original ones on there. They look like they may have been replaced at one time. They're a little stiff, but they're not cracked. So they may have been replaced once, but it sure needed it again. So we're not going to do the brake booster today, even though it's bad. We're going to check the master cylinder out next video. So again, thanks for watching Adventures of Cletus, and we'll see you next time. Bye.